Hello again and welcome back. In this section, we're going to talk about CyberArk interfaces, what they are, and how we interact with the different interfaces in different scenarios. So to jumpstart, I have my vault out here, which is the primary focus, right? So all of my data is present out here in my vault. And if you recollect from the previous lectures, we mentioned that any request hitting the vault, whether to get credentials, to modify credentials, having any access whatsoever, whether if it's from a user or a component, and a component could be like a CPM, PSM, whatever device talks to the vault, they have to authenticate. And that authentication is done through an interface, right? All of the interactions, authentication, authorization is all performed through the interfaces. Now, what are interfaces? Like interfaces at a very fundamental level, they are the interaction point from one system to the other. How you pass the data, how you interact with this component, and how you deal with the day-to-day operations are all defined through the interface. It could be a GUI or graphical user interface, or it could be a command line interface. All right. And we know that a GUI interface in CyberArk is, can you guess what that is? Absolutely right. It's PVWA. And we have another one that's called CyberArk client. Right. So this is the thick client, and this is my ASP based GUI. CLI can be the PACLI utility, or it could be REST. Now we're gonna note down all these interfaces and where they are used. So the first one is my PVWA. This component is the primary interface. So this provides a graphical user interface for users who are my normal day-to-day users that need to connect to different systems that are located out here, let's say. So this is one server and this is another one. So if they wanted to connect to this server, they would interact through the PVWA that goes to the vault. Through PSM, they would be able to connect to this. Next would be my administrators. So if they want to make any changes to CyberArk, they can use PVWA to make those changes. And they can be config related changes, any maintenance, right? So they can very well use PVWA interface to do that. But there are some admin related changes that we already discussed that cannot be performed through PVWA, like creating new users, unlocking users, performing maintenance on safes. So things like that has to be done through CyberArk. So CyberArk is a thick client, and users have to install this on their workstation. As compared to PVWA, they just have to use a web browser. So thick client provides you all the features that you can do with PVWA plus some admin functions. And we're going to have a look at what these are when we actually perform a live demonstration through CyberArk, right? So this is my second interface. The third interface is PACLI, which is an exclusive command line interface that helps you to interact with the vault through commands. And we already talked about this, that the significance of this is to provide you with some kind of an automation, write scripts, execute these scripts in carrying out some of the bulk operations and any other tasks that you deem fit that has to be conducted. Again, we are also going to see this in more details in this section. So this is just an overview and a recap on what these are. And the fourth one is REST. So if we want to integrate with other components and carry out some automation functions, again, a PICLI is not suitable. You can very well use REST APIs. And REST APIs are tunneled through PBWA, so you cannot directly interact with the vault on that. All right. So REST APIs have to be routed through PBWA. So these are the prime interfaces that we will be talking in detail in this section. So stay tuned and keep enjoying.